Hi, welcome to Cards by Kendra. Today I'm sharing a video tutorial for the fourth and final card of the video series I made with the Bubble Babies digital stamps from 7 Kids Craft Store. The first card I made was part of the Team Tiny Under the Sea video hop. You'll find a link to that video suggested in the top right hand corner of your screen. It was a shaker card that I made with the same stencil I'm using today for this card. If you'd like to take a look at the other awesome cards that were made with these digital stamps, click on the link above. It is a playlist of all of the videos that were part of the Team Tiny Under the Sea hop. When I first downloaded these digital images, it was the day before I was leaving to go on vacation to the beach for a week. I always pack some crafting supplies to bring with me on vacation because during the summer in Florida it rains a lot, so I have to be prepared with things to do for when it's raining. I was able to somehow condense all of my supplies into 2 totes. When we got to our condo, I discovered that there was only one little tiny table and nowhere for me to craft, so I had to use my bed. I didn't get much crafting done that week, but I did get some coloring done. Here's the mermaid I colored for this card. I'll be including a list of the Copic marker colors that were used in the description box below. For this card, I'm using a monoprinting technique using Distress Oxide Inks and the Mermaid Scale Stencil from Whimsy Stamps. Now I have to admit my original intention for this card was to do a reverse stencil technique. But after ink blending, Seedless Preserves Distress Oxide ink, and then Mermaid Lagoon, and then Peacock Feathers on a sheet of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, I tried placing a baby wipe on top of it to sort of lift off some of that ink. But apparently it wasn't wet enough, so it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Now if I had run this through my Big Shot with the baby wipe on top, it probably would have worked and turned out. But instead, I decided to spray water on top of the stencil, and then I placed another piece of cardstock on top. This was really just kind of an experiment. I didn't really know what was going to happen. And as you can see here, nothing happened when I flipped my cardstock over. But I do have color on my stencil, so I placed that on a sheet of cardstock and was able to get a really pretty print. And had I left the audio file, you would have heard me gasp. This actually turned out pretty good. So I continued doing this technique probably 4 or 5 more times because there was plenty of ink on that cardstock. So I was able to get several backgrounds out of this. Because I sprayed so much water on that piece of cardstock, it was pretty flimsy. But this was the first card that I made. So after I put the ink on top of that stencil, I sprayed it with some water and I was able to get another background from that as well. Okay, so now I'm just taking one of those backgrounds and I'm trimming it down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I'll be taking a matching frame to put around that, and then I'll be gluing it all onto a piece of Neenah 110-pound heavyweight cardstock. And I cut the mermaid out with my brother's Scan and Cut, and for some reason it cut out a portion of her tail. But I'm still able to use it. Now I'm just going around and cutting off the little white edges, I don't know what you want to call it, but I'm just kind of trimming it down some. Now I'm just trying to figure out where to place everything, and I'm taking a Copic marker and I'm just coloring in the little splashes, and I'm also taking and running it around the edge just to give it a little bit of dimension. Okay, so this is my first time using a Nuvo glue pen. So I'm shaking it, trying to get the glue to start coming out. And then I use that to put on the top of the frame for the sentiment. And then I'm also gluing down the mermaid using this glue pen. And if you notice at the top of the screen, I've got a jar of Nouveau embellishment mousse upside down. I've placed that on top of the sentiment so that it would keep it flat while drying. And here I'm gluing down that little piece that my brother Scannon cut out. And when I peeled that off, I was so mad. The little G and the S on the sentiment kind of rubbed off. I guess I got a little bit of glue on it. So I was able to fix that with a black Copic marker. And now I am just going to be placing a couple of foam squares on the back of this sentiment to pop it up to make it 3D. And then I'll be taking the Wink of Stella and just adding a little bit of shimmer to the mermaid's tail and to her eyelids and on the flower. I did add a couple more embellishments. I added a pearl to the sentiment and also a starfish, but this finishes off my card. And this is all 4 of the cards that I made using the Bubble Babies digital stamps from 7 Kids Craft Store. I do have videos for each of these, so please make sure you subscribe to my channel and take a look at those. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment and follow me on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook at Cards by Kendra, and have a wonderful day.